Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's a little bit after 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, so y'all know what this is. This is another edition of Book Talk Live. Today we are tuned in for Coaches Edition, right? I like to come to, this year making a different promise to myself. Before it was, I'm just gonna go ahead and go live whenever we have authors that are launching. And right now, we got a lot of authors in the pipeline, a couple of groups coming out, some amazing books. But today is especially for you, new and existing authors who have thought about writing a book and still thinking. So this is Coaches Edition. My name is Ray Destin Jr. I'm the founder and CEO of BOBM Publishing, LLC, full service publishing house that does help authors to take their books out of their heads, get them onto the paper, and launch them to bestseller. So today is no different. We're talking about something that you all will probably enjoy, because most of you have written those books and you thought about it and you said, you know what, it's just not gaining any traction. How do I get some traction? So what are we talking about today? We're talking about how to launch your book properly, the proper way to do a launch. So I'm going to give you two different versions of that launch. One is what we specialize in, which is the virtual launch. And the other is an actual physical launch. So for those of you who, now that we're post-COVID and everybody is able to get out and meet those people that, that love on you, that you call on a consistent basis, let's talk about this in-person launch first. First, we need to talk about what is the purpose of an actual launch. Well, first off, is to gain exposure. As a new author, most people don't know what you have done. They don't know about the behind the scenes that you've written for the past few months, the past few years, and you've really been going in trying to get this book out of your head and onto paper. They don't know about the journey. They don't know about the things that you endured. They don't know about those sleepless nights. They don't know about those days that you really were putting in the effort and the work. So that physical launch or that virtual launch is to gain exposure. Let people know, hey, I'm here, and to launch yourself into the world of being an author. Second thing is, how do you get it done? I'm going to break this down slowly for you, because this, if it's done right, can gain a whole lot of traction. You'll have a great deal of book sales. And I want you to make sure that you get those sales that you actually deserve. So let's start with it. First things first, what will you need for a successful book launch? First and most obvious, and if you tuned in with me, whether you live or if you're watching the replay, just go ahead and type in the comments live or replay. Either one works for me. And as I'm going through this process and giving you this information, do me a favor. If you have questions, type them in the chat so that we can get these questions answered for you. So the first things first. First thing that you need for your launch is books. I know that sounds like everybody should know that. No, everybody doesn't know that. As a brand new author, you're going to need a ton of books, right? For most people who are actually serious about launching their books, you'll start with at least 25 to 100 books in stock. That way, when you run across people, you have books on hand. But for an actual launch, for a physical launch, you need to have physical books in hand, whether it's paperback or hardback copies. The more books you have, the more you'll sell. The more books you have, the more you'll sell. The more books you have, the more you'll sell. It's just common sense. Most people cannot sell what they do not have. So you want to have those physical books in hand. Second thing is you'll need a list of people that you're going to invite. And let me kind of clarify some things. Social media is great, but a lot of people will give you congratulations and kudos on social media, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to show up to an event. So you need to set up some type of an event registration link. Eventbrite is really good. You can do it old school and say, hey, RSVP with me by text or by phone or by email. That's another way of setting it up. You can have them registered right there on your website, depending on who you have as your provider. Um, I know Wix has a great event setup where you can actually register directly through the website. They can pay you if you're charging for the event, or they can just leave their name, email, and phone number so that you have contact information. The other reason that you want to have those registrations is because it's very plain and simple. If I have a way to connect with you, if I have a way to follow up with you, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do just that. After the event, you want to be able to thank those people that came. Send them an email, send them a text message, write them a letter. I know most people don't write letters anymore, but a simple thank you card goes a long way for helping people to understand, hey, I really do appreciate the fact that you came through. So you need to have a registration, a way for people to register. Third thing that you'll need is a venue. You'll need to have a venue set up for a physical launch. Why do you need to have a venue? Again, it's obvious. People need to have a location that they can actually come to. What's going on, Chad? Good to see you on the live with us. The reason that you want to have a venue, pick something that matches your status, right? If you're just starting out, an apartment clubhouse may be a great place for you. You can do a book launch at a library. You can do a book launch at a rec center. You can do a book launch at a school. You can do a book launch at an event center. There are so many different places that you can set up if you're just beginning. As your audience continues to grow, you may need to look for a hotel conference room. You may need to look for a larger venue. It all depends on the size of your audience and what it is that you are, the level that you're at. So an event center or a venue. Third, find a good decorator. If you're in the Houston area, I want to send a shout out to one of my little sisters, Cassandra Bird. She has a great event planning company that does all the decorations and makes everything really nice for you. Cater to you event planning. They do a great job with the balloons and the decoratives that you need. They actually, when we had a book launch in 2000, I think it was 2019 here in Houston, Texas, Cassandra and her team actually put together the event decor for us, and the event registration, or not the event registration, but the ambiance of the room was amazing. If you are looking to go to a much larger level and you want to book an entire event center, a lot of times those event centers have event planners as well that can help you with the process of planning out the actual event. A great one of the people that are helping the event manager for the upcoming Winning Mindset Conference, March 4th, 2023, March 4th, 2023, here in Houston, Texas, the Winning Mindset Conference. The event manager for this event is none other than Miss Adrienne E. Bell. She does an amazing job of providing the ambiance, getting the catering together, getting the event decor together. The next thing that you'll need after you got your venue, you got your event center, you probably want to look for a DJ, depending on how big that event is. You can If, you know, a lot of people these days just want to use their phones and set it up to a Bluetooth speaker, that's cool, but you always got to go press pause. You always got to go and change the music. Hire a professional DJ. DJs, depending on your relationship with them, will be very reasonably priced for you, right? What they're going to do is keep the energy high. They're going to keep the mood right. They're going to allow people to actually enjoy themselves while they are at this event with you. So go and get yourself a DJ, someone who can keep it going. And if you are the person who is launching the book, then you also need an MC, someone who can control the crowd while you're getting your thoughts together. Because when I tell you that as you have your book launch, there's going to be a lot going on. There are going to be people that are coming to support you. They want to come up to you and they want to hug you and they want to talk to you and they want to have these quick conversations with you. You won't have time to engage with everyone at your launch. But if you have an MC, someone who is actually regulating and controlling the event, keeping the time right, what their job is to let everybody know this is what the event is about. This is the person, and they're going to introduce you properly so that when it's your time to speak, the only thing that you have to do now is talk about your book, talk about your story, talk about your writing process, and be celebrated. This is a major launch into your career as a new author or as an existing author. Each time you launch a book, you need to have some type of a launch set up for it, because again, you're launching that project. You're not just putting a book out just to say that you did it. You want to have these things in place. Next thing that you want to have is some type of food for the people that are there. If it's going to cost you more than the amount of books that you sell, you can charge for people to come. People will pay to be in attendance. People will pay to be in attendance. Find yourself a reasonably priced caterer that can provide you, maybe they provide you with just basic finger foods, egg rolls, sandwiches, nachos and queso, or you can go all out and have a brunch style event. You can have a luncheon style event. Make sure that you go all out because you're celebrating yourself. Just like someone they have a baby shower when a baby's being born, or they have a bridal party, or they have a groomsman party for a marriage. You want to have something where people can come out and actually celebrate you as a new author. These are just a few of the things that you'll need. The last thing that you'll need is a way to sell those books. You can accept cash, you can accept credit card. Maybe in the registration, it's the cost of one of your books, so that you know before people get there, they've already purchased so many copies of your books. Maybe each person that's coming purchases a book beforehand. For entry, they have to have a copy of the book, because again, you're not just hosting this event so that someone comes out to celebrate you. You're hosting this event so that people will actually purchase copies of your book. You can sign autographs afterwards, but you need to have those things set up in place. Like I said, one is copies of your books, anywhere from 25 to 100 books on hand. Two, you need to have a list of people that are coming, and don't just rely on social media to post an event and think that people are coming. That's just like throwing a birthday party and saying, hey, my birthday is on such and such date. Everybody come out and celebrate me. It doesn't work that way. It really does not work that way. If you want people to show up to your event, make those invites personal, right? Have a registration link. Eventbrite is a good registration link. You can have them email you. You can have them text message you the RSVPs. You can set it up on your website for people to register for that event. Once you have all of that together, you also need your venue. Determine the size of the venue based on how many people you expect to come out. I know plenty of people that have told me time and time again, oh, I got a lot of people that are going to come and support me on this project. That's what you say, but how many people are actually supporting you? I've seen amazing launches where there are hundreds of people in attendance, and then I've seen not so amazing launches where people did not follow the simple instructions, and maybe 3 or 4 people showed up. Right? You got to know who's really rocking with you. After you have your venue, and again, your venue is going to be determined by the crowd that you have. After you have that, you want to make sure that you have a DJ and an MC. DJ and an MC. DJ for the ambiance to make sure that the event is going well. The MC is the person who's going to introduce you and introduce you to the crowd. And then finally, you need to have a way for people to actually purchase books. Either they purchase the books before they come to your physical event, or they don't purchase it, but they purchase them at the actual event where you can accept cash, you can accept credit cards, you can accept Cash App, you can accept Zelle. However you collect your money, you need to have a way to collect money for those payments. We're going to take a quick commercial break, probably about 2 minutes, and then we'll be right back with you. But I want to thank y'all that are rocking with me live so that we can take this to the next level and give y'all some tips as new and existing authors on taking your business and your career to the next level. Be back with you in about 2 and 2.
Business of Books Mastermind Coaching Program has been around for the past 3 years. Myself as a coach, we've actually helped hundreds of authors get their books published and even more to become Amazon #1 best-selling authors. Over the past year and a half, we started our Amazon bestseller launch program, and 225 plus to date have all become #1 best-selling authors in multiple categories. Now, the reason that we started this coaching program is for people like you who you've either just started working on your first book and you don't know where to go with it. You're looking for a blueprint to creating your book. You're wondering how to market your book. You're wondering about how to connect with your audience. And most importantly, how am I going to sell this book and create income from it? These are all things that we teach you inside of 90 Days to Bestseller. The reason that this program is relevant to you is because you want to write that book and you want to be successful. Now that person may not be you. Here's the opposite. You've already written your book and you want to relaunch it as a bestseller. Been there, done that. My first book, I actually changed the cover twice for that exact same reason. The first cover, I loved it. But for some reason, after a while, it got stale. It was sitting on the shelf. So I created my own cover. Bad idea, right? The reason that it was a bad idea is because it looked like somebody was creating a network marketing flyer for my book. Went back and let a professional do it. Keyword, professional. Once that professional got their hands on my book, changed the book cover, it created a completely different vibe for my book. And here's what we've done as a result. From that change, from those slight changes, having a professional designer, going and hiring a professional editor, that book has actually launched a career for me that has taken me around the globe. And when I say around the globe, I've spoken at places all across the country and even done a few virtual international workshops here in the past few months. Now, for you, we can show you the exact same thing. We have the blueprint, we have the tools, we have the system that will work to help you get your book published and launched as an Amazon bestseller. Now, how long does it take? Typically, it takes us about 90 days. We're not going to tell you that it's going to be overnight. We're not going to tell you that it's going to be easy, but we will tell you that we have a blueprint that works and you should be next.
All right. Hey, we are back. Listen, I want to thank y'all that are tuned in. with me, tuned in and rocking. So we've been talking about the physical launch, and I know that a lot of new authors are kind of scared to get in front of crowds. And I understand, most writers are introverted by nature, not really outgoing, not really looking to be in front of a lot of people. But you have to understand that this is your opportunity to do just that. This is your opportunity to actually get your name out there, right? Most people want to be the next J.K. Rowling. They want to be the next Stephen King. They want to be the next Stephen Covey. They want to be the next. You fill in the blank, but you have to understand that it takes work to get to that actual level. And the only way that you're going to get there is by putting in those countless hours that it takes and getting in front of people, getting outside of your comfort zone. Because if you are stuck inside of your comfort zone, then you're not going to be where you need to. So now that we went over the physical launch, I want to talk about a virtual launch because this is where we actually specialize in, right? I'm going to give you enough to make you dangerous. I'm not going to give you the secret on how we've launched over 390 authors to Amazon #1 bestseller. That's what we call classified information, right? And it's privy to those that we work with. Now, here's the next thing. Doing a virtual launch. A lot of the same rules apply when it comes down to from doing a physical launch to actually doing a virtual launch. You need to have the following. One, if you are going to do a virtual launch, you need to have marketing information about that actual launch, right? And as I keep saying, it's not that you just post it on social media and hope that everybody registers for your event. Because I want to be honest with you, I've worked with several hundred authors, and of those authors, the ones who have been very successful have followed the exact blueprint. If you only post it on social media thinking, well, everybody that I know is on social media. I got 1,500 friends. I got 3,000 friends. I got 5,000 friends. When I post it on social media, if only just 1% of those people show up, then I'm good. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way because the algorithms are actually working against you. So when you are hosting your virtual launch, make sure that those invites are personal. Make sure that they're personal. Invite people that you know. Send them text messages, send them emails, make phone calls, and let them know, hey, we're doing this virtual launch, and I would love for you to actually be there. If they agree that they'll be there, send them the registration link. Once you send them that registration link, that gives them the information that they need to be present for your launch. The next thing that you'll need outside of that marketing information, or what should be included on that marketing information, is how they can register, what time is the event, and what day is the event. A lot of times I'll see flyers that people have put out events, and you don't have a date, you don't have a time, you just have a flyer that looks really good. That's great. But how do people know where to go? These days, a lot of people won't even tell you that they're coming, and they'll try to surprise you. But with a virtual event, they have to have a registration link so that way you're not last minute having to go in and say, hey, you're getting that phone call. Hey, I didn't get the link. Where do I go? What's the link to sign in? You don't want to run into that issue. So make sure that all of that information is actually on the event sign in, whether it's through Eventbrite, whether it's through your website. Some kind of way they need to have that registration link. They need to have the link where the actual event is going to take place. Next thing that you need to have is a specified goal in mind. Are you selling your physical book? Are you selling your ebook? Which one of these is it going to be? And let them know up front. We are launching this. I'm trying to get my ebook up on Amazon, and I'm trying to get the numbers up. Or I'm selling my physical book. So this is just a viewing, but there's going to be a link to purchase. People that come to the event want to know what they're coming to. If you just say it's a celebration, there's a lot of people that will sit there and celebrate you all day, but they won't buy anything, right? Make sure that you have a way for them to purchase. When you do that virtual event, make sure that you are somewhere stationary. Make sure that you're somewhere stationary. I've seen people do launches and they are actually in their car. Not a good idea, because that signal can go out on you at any given time. As soon as your signal goes, so does your audience, because they think it's over. And you may not have even put the purchase link out there. Make sure that they have a place where they can actually purchase a copy of your book on that on the link or during the event. When you are having your event, what should you be sharing with people? Share your story. Talk about who it is that you are. Talk about the things that you've been through, because most people, there's an old saying, right? I'm glad I don't look like what I've been through. Most of us can testify to that, because we've been through a lot, and most people only know a tip of the iceberg of your story. Well, they look good. They're wearing suits. They got on a nice hat. They got on a fedora. I've seen them out and they have on red bottoms. Okay, but do you know what it took to actually get there? That's what your book is sharing with people. Share your story. People fall in love with your story. I've seen people go from not having any followers to everybody that attended their launch was automatically following them on social media. In group projects, where there's somebody who's shy during the writing process, and their story is so amazing that when people actually hear it, they want more from you. So be able to convey your message and your story well. After you convey your message, talk about what's inside of your book. Don't give them everything. You don't want to tell them on page 1 this happened, on page 2 this happened, on page 3 this happened. No, you want to tell them a little bit about what is inside of that book, enough to whet their appetite. Because if you tell me too much, I don't need your book. But if you tell me enough to get me interested in what's happening inside of that book, I'm going to buy it as soon as you give me an option to buy it, right? The next thing that you'll share with them, again, is part of your writing process. You never know how many people have actually thought about writing a book, but they've been deterred for a few reasons. They've been deterred because they're scared of what people will think. They're scared of sharing their story. They've been told that they weren't enough. Hearing your story gives them hope that they too can be successful, right? So you want to share your writing process, how easy or how difficult it was for you. And then the last thing that you want to share during the virtual launch is how can they follow you? You want to either give them your website, you want to give them your social media links, you want to give them a way that they can connect with you. Because a lot of times people may have a larger audience that they want to share you with. But if they don't know how to connect with you, how can they ever follow up with you? These are things that you need to have in your virtual launch. And like I said, the most important is the purchase link, because with that purchase link, they can purchase those books from you. Even if it's a virtual launch, you want to make sure that you have copies available so that you can send them out. And here's the last tip that I'm going to give you. Make sure that you have a link for your physical copies. Stop sending people to Amazon. Amazon is going to take about anywhere from 50 to 70% of the proceeds from your book before they even send you a check, which is about 2 to 4 months later. Make sure that you have a place where you can collect those funds immediately. So if you need to reinvest and get more copies of your book, you have that available. True story. In December of last year, less than 2 months ago, right before we were getting ready to launch the last book of the year, someone tried to shut my Amazon account down. Guess what happens? As a publishing company, that's where we publish a lot of books. If we don't have a place to publish, then that stops production on the company. Send them to your link. Stop sending them to Amazon, hoping that that's going to gain you more visibility. There are thousands of books published each and every year. Have a place where people can purchase it directly from you. You worked hard for this. You earned this moment. You earned this spot. Now it's time for you to reap the rewards of that blood, sweat, and tears that you put into this. This is your moment to let the world know that you exist. Do me a favor. For those of you that did tune in, I want to say thank you. I love you. To those that are catching the replay, just go ahead and type in replay. But for everybody that is on here, if you've thought about writing your book and you've been sitting on the fence, like I said before, my first book, it took me 5 years to complete my first project because I didn't have the guidance. I didn't know any published authors. I didn't know any best-selling authors. Now I know at least 396 because I've helped all 396 get to that point of being best-selling authors. Right there on your screen, you can hit that. You can just use your phone, scan that code. If you're ready to write your book and take it to bestseller, we love to work with you. Once again, thank you for tuning in. My name is Ray Destin Jr. I am the founder and CEO of BOBM Publishing, full service publishing house. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. It's time to write to us. Love y'all. Until next time.